but because I'm going off of like right now, definitely going with Jackie Love because he's an 80 carry. As we are into the picks and the bans here, very similar picks and bans. Is this a salty run back right now?
It feels really similar. Same bans, same first round so far. The Leona could come in from Feather as well. So what's the change coming in from RNG? Because they got blasted in that first game. They had a great level 1. It was a great start for them. What do they change from that? So this next round for them was, I believe, Misfortune, and it was also the Corki. I believe they locked in both those picks at this point. I mean, the Rumble was fine for them. That's okay. Maybe Hoya chooses a different matchup into it now. That could also change as well from the side of them. But RNG, surely they have to change something.
Well, I thought they were for a second, and it doesn't look like they are, at least right now. You can't expect to get another good level 1 like that, right? It's like, oh, guys, well, we had it, and then we threw it away. It's like, well, you only had it because TT had a gross misstep. Okay, I like this a little bit more because Corki, you can't just W on somebody and shred them and deal 1 million damage anymore. You only deal 500,000 damage. But Tristana, you still get the burst off. It's still pretty weighty, at least.
Yeah, Tristana still trades very heavily and gets earlier wave control than the Corki does, just because of the nature of the E passive. But you are a weaker champion than you were by a long way. 15% less attack speed per rank of Q. Well, at every rank of Q rather, and then also having the mana increase on that really changed things. And I don't think Yukal cares about the change in that matchup. He's still playing a champion which he's very, very happy to play. He also might just change over to taking the barrier in this matchup and say, you're more bursty, okay, I'm going to take an extra combat summoner. If you lose that trade, what does Tristana bring to the table? Second round bans are looking exactly the same right now as the Maokai last ban from RNG the last time. See if they keep towards that again. It wouldn't surprise me to see them lock that away, because it is very powerful to giving, one, some magic damage, but then also some setup of the team fight. They banned the Nidalee instead, which of course Beitron walks away with MVP from, but isn't this just an easy lock-in of the Maokai now, question mark? They might just do that towards that 5th pick. They may as well counterpick that top lane first for Hoya. That'll be important for them.
Yeah, if you want to go with the Maokai, fine, at least be like, all right, well, you're on something, you got more utility, at least it's less damage. One thing I am interested about before all these other picks start to come in is, with those Tristana nerfs, I do wonder if we're going to go back to, like, Hail of Blades Tristana, right? Especially in a matchup like this where you want to get that quick proc and then just hop out. I know that that's seen nerfs too, but I think that might be the world that we live in. Nice to see this Gragas up top, by the way.
Yeah.
That should be a nice neutralizer.
So Gragas is that neutralizer. The problem, Hail of Blaze got nerfed so heavily just because of the nature of Ashe, Varus, and bot lane. So
it's still so good, but you gotta get that proc off quick.
Maybe when Fleet Footwork gets nerfed as well in the next coming patch,
oh,
maybe
please.
Maybe we'll see that come through. So it's Gertrude which ends up picking up the Maokai instead, which is much better engage. But the big problem from RNG in that last game was the fact that actually they didn't have anything besides Tanyuan getting himself really good combos into the backline, and we get ourselves the Shyvana jungle. This has been making its way through to being a priority pick in the LPL. In the last week or so, it's seen a lot of bans, and then finally over the last couple of days, it's seen a lot of picks as well. It is an artillery bot. It is a bruiser. We've seen different builds towards it. We saw Milky Way go towards Nash's Tooth. I much prefer going towards the Shojin and then the Liandry's, getting a lot of HP, a huge amount of sticking potential, and a huge amount of ability to just run people down who are isolated. If you are left alone against a Shyvana with that kind of item, you get shredded. And we'll see now whether Beitron can handle it as well as Croco did the other day to take a game off of LNG.
Yeah, and I really love the Shyvana with this team composition because you have all these champions that can kind of chill out, right? Nothing that it's like, okay, you need jungle intervention to help you out. Yukal should be just fine in the mid lane. Oh, you have Ezreal in the bot lane. He's able to chill out. Gragas, like we talked about, the ultimate neutralizer. You don't need your jungler to help you out that much, which means you can at least get that first full clear without much of an issue if you are Beishwan.
I was jump scared by this champ select, so I'm going to go very quickly collect my drink from the other room as we wait to get into the game.
Oh yeah, you're fine, man.
Almost a solid run back, but not quite. So we'll get onto the rift, listen to the Dryas, and hopefully I'll be back in time.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're not, that's okay. I got it from here. Once we get in the game, I just got to be quiet and let the crowd shout. It's super easy. Let's see. Oh, I like the Nautilus adaptation as well. That's also something I wanted to talk about because Yukal was just able to do whatever he wanted in that last game. So I'm glad we're seeing this Nautilus come through to be able to try to deal with that. Like the adaptations that RNG has put together, they still have plenty of damage. They come up with more CC and more setup now. You can get your... Oh, yeah! Sorry. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's just a tree. Nah, Genji's gonna take too much damage. It's another disaster level 1. But this time RNG is the one getting disaster class.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
All right.
What did you let them do, Yanni?
I'm sorry. Listen, Genji was doing his best tree impression. He sat in the bush, but the problem is he started moving. And then TT was like,
no.
oh my god, a walking tree.
It's okay. So I guess, right, kill over to 1xn, tier first back. That's horrific. Yeah, that means that he's gonna get that tier for free. You don't even lose any laning power, so that's terrifying. And yeah, Hoya gets himself, he loses that flash, but he's fine. He's a neutralizing lane versus the Grumble, which you highlighted in that champ select as well. Yeah, that's not what you wanted from RNG. You had the best start in the last game. This is not that.
It was the worst of times. It was the worst of times for RNG. The good news is, while you were away, I got to do the oh yeah, and it gave enough for TT to get the job done. The other adaptation though that I was talking about while you were gone was this Nautilus for Tangwan. At least I like the fact that they have something to deal with Zarya now, but already getting the game off to the bad foot. It's like when you're trying to like go out and run and like you twist your ankle. Unfortunately, RNG twisted their ankle out the gate. Oh, Juice forgot to buy items and couldn't bail his boy out.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh, Juice, no. Oh, that makes wow. Considering that Juice like monstered his game last time, that is not the way to start game 2.
The duality of man.
If you don't, what's it called? If you don't love Juice at his buy no items, you don't deserve him at his 2 solo kills, I suppose. But now the problem is, I mean, Huanfeng's on this MF, which is meant to be lane dominant. You're not going to be winning lane now. The tier on Ezreal means mana on Ezreal early is very important. It means that you just keep getting wave control for like the entirety of time, really. Whereas without any mana items, Ezreal does run out of it very, very quickly, of course. And that means that now Feather's going to be free to roam, a lot easier. 1xn is going to be completely fine to get towards 1 and 2 item spikes. This means that TT's early game plays become that more potent. And they were already really good that last game. Remember, they just kind of shredded those early game plays. Level 2, level 3. Doesn't get that much.
Yeah, but you know what? I like that Feather is there. It's like, you know what? Let's do it. We're the level up. Let's get some damage in. No barrier for you, Cal, but oh man, you can see that attack speed nerf actually was huge.
Yeah, it's 15% less attack speed. He's gone for the press the attack, trying to go for more damage. Another hook to interrupt that Zenith Blade. So that's how you play that Leona Nautilus matchup. You try and just press the hook when you're Zenith Bladed and try and stop that follow-up Shield of Daybreak coming through. Feather has been also really important to this team. He came onto Rare Atom last year. That was his debut into the LPL. He was the youngest support in the LPL, I think, when he debuted. I think the second youngest was weirdly On, considering he's been playing for years, but On's been,
yeah.
He's still very, very young, even with his tenure. But yeah, Feather has really grown on this team. He's not going to be here to help mid lane, though. I don't think it's going to lead to that much. XCZ has been a notable Tristana player in the past, but the problem is with going towards this press the attack is that you don't have that same kind of like presence in mid lane permanently, because you don't get that same sustain to the same level, where Tristana would get wave control, grind you down, use absorb life and fleet footwork to just mean that you could never move. Press the attack means that if you ever take a hard trade, you can really struggle for the next minute or 2 before you get a good reset.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you're seeing happen. At least you're going to go back and pick up your call. But these are lanes that, you know, if you saw this a couple weeks ago, it would just be entirely Tristana dominant. UCal wouldn't be able to take teleport at this point. You know, it feels like disrespect, but it's not. It's just there's not much coming out of Tristana, and I'm interested to see for how long teams and players keep hanging their hat on this champion in the mid lane. You at least always get push because of the explosive charge passive, but I don't know if that's enough to really move the needle anymore.
That's a really important conversation, because I think weirdly, in some ways, the best Tristana players in the world will see this as actually a good thing, because it means that it's available more. Because people aren't banning it first permanently now. They won't just ban it on red side. So players like Cream, I think that players like Scout as well also fall into that list as well. They can get a huge value out of this. So the fact that it is more available does work for some of them, but the question is XCZ one of them? He's trying to jump forward again. Dragon started up. TT of roaming in force, but Juice has come down to the play.
Yeah, Hoya doesn't have teleport to help out either. The mid laners are a little too occupied, but Yukal's level 6, and it doesn't matter. The Buster shot doesn't push Yukal into the turret. So, a couple low mid laners. Flash is coming forward. Geju is the one who gets engaged on, but the Equalizer will catch out Feather. We'll be able to take him down, and the Dragon goes over to RNG, so already denying the Dragon stacking, plus the little bit of extra benefit that Beishuan would get.
Yeah, so that would have been nice for Beitron to get, and sadly for TT, they can't find themselves that River Skirmish this time around. Hoya didn't have that teleport, couldn't come to the play. However, mid lane, one of these matchups which we were worried about at the start of the day, is not getting any easier for RNG's mid lane. XEZ is getting kind of shown about by Yukal, who took a really good trade at the level 6 to level 5. Very lucky for XEZ to get away with his life, managed to get himself some XP off the minions and live through that. Grubs are going to go to the side of TT. Which is a bit of a problem, considering that Tristana normally wants to play towards that. Ah, checking the Fog of War. Right, okay. So nice. Juice manages to slip behind that. That was really well played. XEZ goes for a quick all in there, which means that Juice comes down with the Equalizer. How much damage does the Equalizer do to change this fight? Because he comes down with that ultimate immediately. Yeah, it's a good Equalizer. Separates out that fight. Next, 1xN has to get himself away. So that's well played from Juice. Gets himself immediately into that fight. One thing that we were saying in that last game is that, of course, wasn't running that teleport to have himself more presence to get back to a lane or get to a fight. He couldn't impact these early plays. He could there.
Yep, and you know what? All is forgiven for forgetting your items and leaving your jungler out to dry earlier on.
I don't know if Geju agrees with that, but sure.
No, not in the slightest. And maybe the game state won't agree either, but you know, at least you're making up for it a little bit with that teleport advantage. That means Hoya, they're going to have their teleport up first, so we'll see if we have any impact from TT this time making a play onto RNG. Or if Beishuan is just going to continue to be a full clear jungler. It's exactly on schedule for a Shyvana, so totally fine there.
Yeah, no, and Beitron's going to be very, very happy. He's going towards that pickaxe first, which means that probably going to, I believe he's going towards the Shojin. I'm trying to remember, oh god, Shojin's build's changed over time and I forget about that. But
oh
yeah,
my god, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I think it's probably Kindle Gem, Warhammer, and then, well, hang on a second, that's a Flash Wave, was afraid of the cast. And then also the pickaxe.
Yeah, nice
but yeah, Beitron probably going towards that and then towards the Landry. So he's going towards the more bruisery build, particularly with the Fleet Footwork himself. The change away from Fleet Footwork giving more movement speed than it used to before as well has really, really helped stuff like Shyvana have that sticking power which they can sometimes struggle with.
Juice putting in a lot of damage into Hoya, but going to be able to sustain and run away for right now. Overheated means no Equalizer coming out for Juice.
Yeah, Hoya just making sure that phase rush is kind of able to get him out. There is a kind of fun thing. Well, I say fun thing. It wasn't fun for me because I was on the bad end of this. But you know, sometimes phase rush can get you killed in weird ways. So I played a lot of Quinn top lane back in the day, and I know you can hate me for what that is. And one time I was playing against a Nasus, and I learned the hard way that phase rush doesn't have a cooldown to be procced every wave. It's every other wave or so. And the problem is, if I took a hard all-in versus the Nasus and got phase rush, and you just sat there and just tanked it up, the next time I went for an all-in, he'd wither me, and I'd be dead because I didn't have that phase rush. Because on this every other wave, I wouldn't have my phase rush. So sometimes in some weird matchups, you actually need to not hit people 3 times. You need to limit your damage output just so you save your phase rush, because that's the only thing keeping you alive from them all-inning you. It's a weird thing, particularly in some of these top lane matchups where people can run you down.
Yeah, and, you know, you said I was going to hate you for that, and, you know, I'm not that much of a top lane player, but I hate Nasus, right?
Yeah.
So I feel for you on that one. That must have sucked real hard, but
yeah,
you know what? Phase Rush is still good. People will still be taking Phase Rush from now until the dawn, or the end of time, I should say.
Phase Rush has had to be nerfed over time because of champions like, in Jace made good use of it, Ryze was really good with it. Hang on, there's no flash here on Juice, still needs to hit with the slow, gonna be punted back into H1.
Oh, Beishuan with that Dragon's Descent coming through. There's plenty of damage. They will be able to get the job done. He's able to pick up his first kill of the game as well. And the Shyvana is online. We are ready for takeoff, my friend.
That is a problem, because if suddenly you're giving kills over to the Shyvana, I don't think that Juice can play in a side lane. I think maybe XEZ can, but the problem with something like the Rumble is that, well, I mean, you go for the Comet. You don't go for something like that phase rush. And if Shyvana just jumps at you at 2 items, I think you just get 1v1. I think Shyvana is such a strong 1v1 bruiser champion right now that you can't stand in a lane like that. So Hoya can sit and wave clear, but every time you push up to a tab, you have to be afraid that Beitron's nearby as well. That is going to be the Shojin now based off of that kill. Huge point of power coming through from him. Beitron might struggle when he's diving into 3-4 people, but if he gets someone isolated, that's going to be a dead set of targets. We get ourselves that dragon coming up in 20 seconds. TT, they're not going to have that Shyvana ultimate because the Rage is now currently a Q coming in from 1XM. Does look like, though, that RNG are not positioning around this at all. Instead, they want to deny the grubs and split the objectives down the middle again.
Yeah, and it's really disappointing that RNG wasn't able to do anything to disrupt Beishwan, right? He was able to full clear essentially for free. Even, you know, it's like, all right, you took the dragon, sure, I don't really care, I'm going to do my thing. With this mid-jungle duo, should have been Moore's. Nice engagement here on to UCal, and UCal without barrier will fall. Just keeping that flash in the back pocket.
Well played by Tanyuan. Not exactly sure how he got into that lane without being seen. There's good vision on the roam up from bot side through to mid lane. Just disrespects the Fog of War on the other side of the wall. Great flash over for the ultimate from Tanyuan, and Huanfeng gets himself onto the board as well. That's important, because of course we saw how well UCal kind of ran away with his mid-game fights if left unattended. You still give up that dragon, which of course gives you extra 5 magic resistant armor for the Shyvana per stack, and of course the Shyvana also gets into the enemy jungle to start clearing away camps. Shyvana has always been a fast clearing jungle. This is a terrible teleport, as you can see. Tanyuan's here, but
yeah, not going to be here in enough time, I don't think. Will at least land the hook down as Feather, tanking up that turret big time, able to live with the sliver. I just don't think there's enough damage on the way back, but there should be enough CC. Ezreal with a good cleanse. 1xN able to survive and dump some damage out on the backside.
Good set of mobility used by XEZ there. Problem is now that leaves UCal to hit this tower. UCal's already 1,000 gold ahead. And yes, you killed him the one time. That doesn't shut down the champion for the entirety of it. Still, XEZ not really able to play through the side lane the way that he would have wanted to. TT, they find themselves at a minor gold lead again, 12 minutes in, 1,000 gold. That's actually pretty good. And the fact that the Shyvana is just off to the races now is a big problem for RNG. We called about that before, but I think if this game comes down to side lanes where Beichan can just Dragon's Descent onto someone isolated, it's not going to be pretty. And they're going to hoover through their farm. Interested to see what they get on this next back. It'll probably be, I mean, if you get towards upgraded boots, that's very important. Yeah, Merc treads through. Means it's much harder for the Maokai and the Rumble to play anything close towards Beichan.
Yeah, and you know, if you're RNG, you don't have anything to hang your hat on. Like, Huanfeng, sure, you've got 1 kill. You had 2 kills in the last game and couldn't really get the job done. Things are so much harder now, and XZZ has been a bit of a non-factor. It's down nearly 40 CS. I just don't see where this damage is going to come from before TT really gets going and UCal really starts getting late, and this Ezreal finishes their first item. It's going to be really rough.
You know, it's funny, you know, before this series, before facing UCal, he was just called ZZ, and then he's been put in the dirt, and now he's XZZ, as Tanyuan might also have to put an X on his name. He has no flash. That's probably a very, very dead Nautilus.
Yep, he is going into the dirt as well. It's just standard Nautilus gaming, you know? It's just the first of many. Probably for Tangwon in this game. No offense to him, it's just how it is on Nautilus. Yeah. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I was sat there like, you know what, it's harsh, but the kid's not wrong. So, yeah, Tanyuan is trying to play... It is what I like to call losing support syndrome. If you are playing Nautilus and you are losing a game, games look like this. You just end up eating a lot of bad plays because you're trying to get vision down. Oh no, you're caught out. The enemy team's ahead on the map. You get caught out in team fights because you're engaging through. Oh no, you're not that tanky because you're behind the game and they have a ton of damage. Sometimes it happens like this. Now, sometimes there are players which do this even without that. I'm looking at you, Hillisang. There are players like this who can just occasionally just throw a million deaths and they can get away with it. Not always the case, though. Herald now started up. Tanyuan still doesn't have ult. Beitron doesn't have his ult, though, and that's a big point of power which TT would like to have back.
Yeah, but all it takes is Feather to come through the Hex Gate to at least force RNG off. UCal does need to link back up with the team teleport coming in onto the top side. And here comes Gragas as well. Bullet time down, doing a lot of damage to keep them away and secure the Rift Herald on top of it. The Leona is the first to get blown up as Beishwan is forced to flash away. So RNG got what they came for. They might get a little bit more as they get on top of UCal, who also burns away. Still with this flash up. It's a double kill for Huanfeng.
Why did TT fight without that Shyvana ultimate? You don't have that rage. That's a huge amount of your damage. So TT, they kind of throw that fight at them. Herald goes over. Huanfeng picks up another couple of kills as well. Beitron, yeah, he's strong, but he does still need that ultimate. That is one of the problems of the Shyvana. Has rage back now. Gerju needs to be really... He might just die here. This is really dangerous for Gerju.
Oh, he is just getting chunked so hard. Luckily, he will be able to survive, but your jungle is not your own. Shyvana is the queen of her and your jungle now. The good news is, at least you're on Maokai. You still provide so much to your team.
That's not your jungle there, Tanyuan. There is a Hex Gate so people can come through it, but that was a little bit scary for a while. Beitron manages to get a buff steal and is really, really far ahead of Geju, of course. When you don't go towards the Leandries of the Maokai, your clear speed goes very far down. We're going to go back to this replay. Look, Hoya has a good teleport angle, but it's just not the fight you want. Yeah, Feather gets his Eclipse off. Doesn't have the Solar Flare. Look, fight, guys, you don't even fight with the Solar Flare. I mean, Yukel as well should also just play. Yukel should also just, one, flash away from this, and two, just not be there in the first place. TT, this is a very poorly decided fight for them. And, you know, I have a lot of love for what TT have done in the Nirvana stage, and, you know, they do definitely deserve their position here. But there are a couple of fights like this where I'm just questioning why they position like that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue was their inability to link themselves a little bit tighter, because once that bullet time came down, it split the entire fight, and that's how you knew it was over. 1xN is like, guys, I'm taking a little bit too much damage. I'm not going to stand in this. You're on your own, pal.
So Dragon Snap has started up. I don't know if there's going to be a contest. Beitron does have ult this time. Good vision.
Oh, he wants it.
Can RNG get out of the pit? That's a mark ult, but Beitron has just put his ult to the side.
Yeah, just a little too far away, and now here's the engage onto the Gragas. The Cask is only going to hit one. Feather very low, but so is Juice. He's overheated and doing a lot. Yukel forced to flash away, but 1xN is full HP and in the thick of things, using his summoners excellently as he looks for more, firing away the Mystic shots. Yukel helping out on top of it. Beishwan getting a kill from downtown. The question is, can the skill shots ring true if you're 1xN? He's trying to get that shift back up, looking for a little bit more. Shifts into a hook, survives, and then finally falls. It's another kill for Misfortune.
It's another kill to Misfortune, but TT walk away with the grand majority of the kills. 4 for 1 after that third dragon fight. Hoya had an excellent ultimate there. Honestly, I think Hoya saves that game. If that ultimate gets a full channel, I think that TT lose the dragon and they lose that fight. We'll get a replay of that almost certainly, but just keep your eye out for the Cask and how beautifully timed it is. Maybe playing a bit of a mind game to make sure that Quanfeng can get out. Beitron starts putting through his Flame Breath. This is huge. The hook goes onto Hoya, and this Cask immediately cancels the bullet time. There is 2 waves of that put through. And yeah, you know, Feather goes down, but Beitron has nothing to fear at this point. Yukel and 1xN, nothing to fear at this point. And yeah, you lose a lot of summoners. And again, even Hoya here tags an extra slow onto XCZ, which allows him to go down as well. Hoya, fantastic fight from him.
Oh, more fighting, and it looks like it's TT's time to run the game over. Catches this Tristana out on a side lane, and guess what? The top side of your jungle is now forfeit. RNG.
Oh my god. I mean, Beitron, the gold lead was already bad. Now it's gone from bad to worse. Another cat. Hoya, man. Hoya's Gragas is on form today.
Oh yeah, this man is going crazy. Geju is able to walk out. Never seen a tree move so fast in my life, but he is on 10 right now. And, you know, this Gragas play has been phenomenal and a great return to form, because last game on that Gnar, not so hot.
Yeah, no, Hoya had a really difficult game 1, which is against the run of form which he's been having so far. Beitron, also worth again shouting this guy out. I think in spring and in 2023 as well, he was a Shinsao player, and I get that he was a role player for the team, but he wasn't really that special for this team. I think the AP junglers have done a world of good for him. I think his Lily has been great. I think that this Shyvana game is excellent, and now he's got himself up to 7 Dark Seal stacks, and that Leandry is built up too. Beitron is going to shred some fools in team-wise. This is not going to be close. We see this play on the side lane again. I think that TT, they have really evolved their side lane play, and again, they might be looking for a Cask play onto XEZ if he doesn't buffer well.
Oh yeah, this man's just dead. ACC for days. He's able to get the Buster shot off, sure, but you're going to go right into Hoya's waiting arms. This teleport's not going to be able to save you.
Juice pulls out that equalizer. Is it enough? No, all that is that's an exit carpet this time. The red carpet towards the exit. Beitron forced the flash, but he might just kill Gedge all the same.
Yeah, and along with 1xN, who is just dispensing damage. Quanfeng is super low. Luckily, no Ezreal ultimate to clean up these last couple of kills, but RNG just can't buy a good fight at this point.
Their mid games have just been so far behind TT. The early games have actually been a little more contested. I think TT's choices of fights in this game 2 are much worse than game 1. That's why RNG got a lot of those early kills onto Quanfeng. But you know, TT, they're just better at playing around side lanes. I think that they're much better at comboing up with their big playmaking tools as well. We've seen that with the Gragas, we've seen that with Feather on the Leona too, and of course Beitron on this Shyvana. 3-level lead, by the way. So this is terrifying. I kind of want to see what he's going to build that third item. We have seen Horizon Focus, where the whole idea of the build is any item which gives me % damage increase is something I want, because Shyvana's base damages are so high, and they have multiple scalings on them. So we might end up seeing that, but I wouldn't even mind him seeing go towards something a bit tankier, just to run at people like Juice a little bit more, and to say, you can't ever kind of escape at this point. So we'll see what he goes towards with that. But either way, whatever he builds, he is a Shyvana with 1,000,000 gold and 1,000,000 damage, and that's a huge problem, because RNG, we said they were going to be in trouble if they have to play isolated. They're not being given that option. Juice is going to 100% have to flash again.
Yep, and this poor guy is isolated. Flash comes out, but the CC follow-up is there. The tankiness is just too much. They can't take down Feather, even with the help of the turret. Wanfeng is here to try and turn this fight around. Gets engaged on, is going to cleanse, still has that bullet time in the back pocket, but has to just try to dive, duck, dip, dive, and dodge a little too much. But once again is able to get kills under the turret. 6-0 and 2. It's been an impressive performance.
Do it, Hoya. Do it to him. He's got the flash. Come on.
No, don't do it to him, bro. Oh, he's trying to do it to him, and he is going to do it to him. Serve him right up for UCal, and then take the kill your damn self anyway.
He's going to teleport back towards mid lane to wave clear that as well, to make sure that mid lane turret stays alive. TT, they are just so much better around playing on the wider map. They have been playing through this so much better. Hoya's going to keep the wave away from the turret. Needs to be a little bit afraid. Just used a lot of his skills. XEZ now finally can auto-attack that turret. Should be able to take down that turret. This is a little dangerous from Hoya.
It's okay. UCal is here to save the day and help out. Buster Shot does come through. That means XZZ will be able to walk it out. It's been the highlight of XZZ's game. Got that mid turn.
I can't stress enough how well TT have played around side lanes compared to the way they did in the group stage at the start of summer.
Yeah.
This team was getting destroyed in side lanes at the start of summer. This time it's been much, much better. They find people out of position. They've been running down extended kills, and they trust in the damage that they have. This is a bit of a mess. They are very, very lucky here that the bullet time's not through. I think actually if Feather goes in, maybe thinking the bullet time's just come off a cooldown, it still had like another 5-6 seconds on it at this point, which is very lucky for them. Yep, 1xN does go down. He's had a bit more of a fast and loose game with the Ezreal this time around, but all the same, it has really just been TT playing better in the entrances to the fights, and that's meant that it's been very, very hard for RNG to fire back, even with the damage that they have on the likes of this Misfortune.
Yeah, the good news is Wanfeng is strong and is still strong despite dying for the first time this game. The problem is just doesn't have an opportunity to really set his feet with the team composition that TT has put together. 23 minutes into the game, we're seeing the pings go down onto the Baron. XZZ on the split push train here. He's tried to land a cheeky hook onto this Ezreal, but not so. This Baron has been started up, looking to pull the attention of RNG. The bullet time doesn't do a damn thing. That's what we've been waiting for all game, is Tangwan will die alone on the side. Huang Feng just gets knocked right into the Shyvana, and he goes down, as it was all TT from the start of this fight. It's only ever been TT, and it's time for them to take the Baron.
Tanyan tries to get the quick combo onto 1xN, but the reactions are too quick. XTC is just, nah, screw this somehow. Goes towards the bot side to take something there, but the Baron's down. TT, they can do whatever the hell they want with the entire map. This has not been a close game yet again. It was an easy first blood for TT as opposed to that first game. And yeah, RNG, they took some better fights in the early game compared to the last one, but TT have just been playing better around their damage. Beitron has been playing an absolute stormer of a game, MVP in game 1 on the Nidalee, and here with the Shyvana has not dropped Mr. Beat. Level 16 already. The Rage generation at level 16 goes up from 2 per second to 3, I believe, at that point, which means that you get your ultimate on a way quicker cooldown. You haven't done more damage. But Beitron, you don't even want to walk at this with a 1v2 and a 1v3. Beitron just walks away, and he's said, okay, I've taken your jungle now. Goodbye. RNG, they continue on to this. He has Flash and he has Rage coming up. You don't want this fight, folks. Tanyan, if you walk up towards this, you die. That is just seeing where he's backing off.
They are lost in the sauce, Nymaera, and I think the only question we have to have for this game is, has Beitron done enough to earn another MVP?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We saw that buffer come through, and that we were waiting for something like that to happen, just positively for RNG, and it's just not coming together. And Hoya, once again, has had a fantastic game, has realized what his assignment is, has gotten an A+ on that assignment, frankly.
Beitron caught out in picture-in-picture.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The question is, how long does it take not long enough for the rest of the team to show up, but the siege is on the bottom turn.
Yeah, it took 4 people to kill him, but they do get him down. First death of the game goes back for a death cap. YanniCasts now on this top side might be able to stop a recall or two. So this is the Baron push coming in from TT. RNG use their resources to kill Baytron. They might be able to get a pick. They don't land that hook, which is a shame for them. And also you can see that YanniCasts is chasing down Gedra on the top side of the map, make sure that he can't recall and join in a play on the other side of the map. Now, YanniCasts might have overstayed. There is a teleport coming in from XCZ. YanniCasts is also quite strong, though. I don't know if he wins this double buff from YanniCasts, too.
Yeah, and we're seeing multiple teleports come in to try and help out YanniCasts and help out the rest of RNG as Juice has arrived. A Misfortune ultimate goes down, gets enough damage in. Hoya is forced off and can't do much to help out.
Alright, I said that TT were playing better around side lanes, maybe for not the last
Oopsie.
2 minutes. Hey, they still got themselves...
Caster curse!
Yeah, we do that a little bit. I think,
I mean, I cursed Beishwan.
I'm trying to remember the last big Chaos Caster curse I had. I said, there was one for an IG engage just the other day. I think that might have even been against RNG. No, it was against WE. Where I was saying that, oh, you know, IG, the one thing they need not to do is over-engage and let, you know, the carries behind the tanks do a load of damage. And they did exactly that, like, 2 seconds after I said it. That was probably the most overt one which I've had recently, but hey, we all have a couple of top draw ones there from time to time. Dragon spawning up in a minute's time. That would of course be extra stats towards Baytron, and it would be soul points towards TT as well. Death cap for Baytron is absolutely disgusting. Typically we see stuff like even the Shadow Flame or the Horizon Focus, but he's so fed he just goes towards the death cap, and it is a huge amount of damage coming through. Shyvana doesn't always have the biggest AP ratios, but the Flame Breath it's enough. Also, her Dragon's Descent also has a huge AP ratio, so be careful for the burst coming through from that one. If Baytron gets his Leandries and his Shojin stacked, and then ults and ease onto you, it is a one-shot for a lot of people on this team. Because of that RNG, they're not going anywhere close to either Dragon, whether it's the objective on the bot side of the map or the Shyvana, which will be hanging around there so far. TT using that Baytron.
This is cyberbullying.
Yeah,
oh,
misses
okay.
that E. We need the damage check. We 100% need the damage check. Come on, give us a knee on top.
I want to see somebody get to half HP. Huan Feng, you're going to need a little bit more in the way of shields. I don't think it's going to be enough. 0 for 2 on Dragon's Breath since we've seen the Rabadon's Death Cap come out. I'll gauge you coming in from the side. Maybe a cheeky play for RNG, but hey, you just take too much damage, and still the Shyvana hasn't landed a damn thing.
He misses all 3 of his flame bursts through that. Thing is, when you're level 16, your ult is on such a low cooldown, and when you're auto-attacking things, it brings it back all the quicker. So if you just keep channeling through those twin bites, it really helps. You see that RNG, they're pinging towards this top side. I think what they want to do is trade the Dragon for an objective bounty on that top lane outer turret, get that gold, and then also get themselves the objective bounty. I mean, XCZ does have a decent amount of gold. Is it going to be enough? No, not really. This is still an incredibly powerful TT. RNG walking towards this top side, going to take towards that tower as well. So that's something in pocket. How much gold are they going to get, though? Okay, it's going to be about 250 gold for XCZ and a little bit less for the rest of the team. RNG, that's something, I guess. It's probably the only macro option they had available to them. Yeah. And sadly for RNG, I mean, this is the nature of playing against TT when they've actually upgraded their side lane and their macro play from the start of summer. RNG are looking destined to be in that bottom rung in the Nirvana group, the worst team in the LPL.
That's a tough distinction for a legacy organization that, you know, is synonymous with some of the greatest organizations and most long-running organizations we've seen in League of Legends history. But just because it's bad now does not mean the bad times will last forever, fans of RNG. Sometimes you just gotta suffer through and it'll be all too sweeter on the other side. But right now you are in the suffering phase as TT is beginning to knock down the last few structures before it is time for them to end the game.
The other side, TT, you know, in such a big advantage right now as a Medjai's and Baytron, my favorite item in the game, folks. In fact, if you're on Twitch, you can even spam my emote, which is buy the book. Not buy the book as in do it by the book tutorial style. Buy the book. You purchase it from the shop. You've become an avid reader and someone of great class and style. Baytron doesn't have the 10 stacks because, of course, he died in that top lane. But once he gets that, you know, he's going to get extra move speed too, which means he can chase down even further with a bird out. And then the move speed from the 10% from that one Shojin, of course, gives you some as well. Oh, God, I hope it. I think it does. Look, Shojin's been changed so much. I remember it giving move speed at some point. Baytron is feeling it. He absolutely should do. He's walking away with an MVP level performance with him or Hoya probably on the running for that right now. And TT, you know, this team has only reached playoffs once in their org's history before. If they secure themselves top 2 and they get themselves a matchup against OMG or RA, they might see themselves there again for just the second time in their org's shorter history.
Yeah, and you know what? With the season that they've had, despite being, in Nirvana group, they would deserve it, honestly. It would be nice to see them come in. Always like when teams cycle in and out. I never like seeing teams that, don't have great playoff history and just stay at the bottom forever. It's so necessary for fans to have their time in the sun. As RNG look to have their time in the sun, a lot of roots coming down in an engagement we finally see. They're able to blow
Hoya!
up. Zeri Hoya has gone golden. He's very low. RNG is very healthy. Hangwan looking for more, was unable to get more. A 2-0 despite giving up the Baron.
Yeah, Yukar gets CC down. He can't impact that fight. 1xN also not quite able to get the damage out that he would have liked. And of course, this all happens after Baytron has used his ult and once again doesn't get a huge amount of value out of his Flame Breaths. We've been speaking up this Shyvana for quite a bit. Not quite able to get the great value. Oh, this is a problem. Hexgate's coming through Geiju. I think he might have just thrown himself to the wolves. Baron buff up for TT. Jungler alone. If a tree falls alone in bot side river, do they really fall? Yeah, they actually do. Dies to TT.
Yeah, when you have True Sight like we do, you know that they fall. And that sucks. That really sucks, because I think that this was an opportunity to at least stall out the game a little bit more to get your double AD carries, more gold in their pockets, and maybe have another cool fight like this a little later on, but throwing like that and just overstaying for the crab that is not going to do that much for you,
it doesn't help.
Tough mistake.
So we saw that TT kind of misused a lot of the bigger ultimates. Didn't have Dragon's Descent, only had the back end of it, and then Hoya didn't have a great cask either. So TT, that's probably one of the worst case scenarios for them in terms of their big team fights. We expect more from them. They're still very far ahead in gold. They have themselves those 3 dragons, and the Hextech dragons giving cooldown reduction and attack speed. Really, really helpful for absolutely everyone on this roster. Shyvana, Zeri, and Ezreal, all big users of both those stats in their core build. So it's very, very powerful now for TT to bring that to bear. RNG, they have themselves big items on Huanfeng. Has himself the rapid fire cannon and the Lord Dominus regards in terms of giving himself better ease of access to that Beichuan. That's gets through the shield of Juice, gets through the tower even quicker.
Oh man, the damage that's just occurring on these structures, it's just far too much. Knockup coming through on the Shyvana teleport here as well. Bullet time going down, doing quite a bit. Skidju is in the middle of this fight. A lot of damage coming back onto RNG though, and it is finally time for TT to knock them down like dominoes. They are able to clinch this game. They get their 2-0 for the day. They will improve to 5-2, get the leg up on seeding, as it wasn't pretty all the time, but they were never in any real danger now.
They get themselves the 2-0, and they will secure themselves a top 2 finish in Group Nirvana. TT, they've had ups and they've had downs. I think that's fair to say for every one of our teams within the Nirvana group. TT, they deserve this. They do deserve this. They took down the undefeated OMG on their route towards the top as well. And in our second series of the day, OMG will be playing again versus Rare Atom to determine who else will be in that top 2. TT, this means that they will not face one of NIP or LGD who have fallen down from the Ascension group into the Knights rival stage. And they'll give themselves potentially an easier matchup into that last chance qualifier for playoffs. TT, this was a good series from them, even with some of their slip-ups. It kind of had to be a good series versus RNG. This is the team with the role swaps, and RNG, with that 2-0, secure themselves, I believe, their worst finish ever in the LPL. They are definitively the worst team in the LPL. TT put them to the sword, and for fans of Royal Never Go Up, spring was bad enough. Losing Xiaohu and going into 2023 and getting yourself just into the first rung of playoffs and then continually falling down split after split is not what fans of this organization would have wanted to see. And that will finish us off for our first series of the day. Hello everyone, it's me, I'm Nymaera. It's Yanni who's joining me today for the cast. I hope you've been enjoying yourselves and enjoying this first series of the day as TT sealed out a 2-0. We have been doing this all year. Myself and a number of the casters are coming to join me, and I'm very thankful for them that join me as well, because it gives us a lot of variety of variety as the